Hey, aloha everyone. Michelle Melendez with Blossom Inner Wellness and StandTogetherHowAboutYou.com. We had a meeting with the mayor last night and he paused the general plan. And I want to show you guys a video first. And then I did talk to Jeff Darrow and he said, we kind of got into it a little bit. And because he was saying this plan has been going on for 10 years. And I said, the people did not create this plan. And I'm going to show you on the Hawaii General Plan and prove to you that it is not created by the people. But first, I want to share Rosa Corey and show you guys what she has to say. And this is 606 here, uh, right here.
um, as Americans, you're going to find yourselves deeply at odds with and completely concerned by the agenda for the 21st century. And that is what it's called by the United Nations and the world. It's not Catch 22, it's not Area 51, it's Agenda 21 because it is the agenda for the 21st century. That is what it's called by the United Nations.
And I want to just pause for a second and explain who she is. She's a 30-year transportation. She's a chief branch transportation manager of California. She was for 30 years. She died of cancer. She also was a special litigation specialist for eminent domain, and she found Agenda 21 by she was doing research on a court case for eminent domain. And she found by accident the Agenda 21. And then she started going around throughout the country to county council meetings and telling them, this agenda is coming through the planning department. Please know this so we can stop it because this does take away freedoms. And let's hear what she has to say about that.
It's a blueprint. It is the action plan to inventory and control all land, all water, all minerals, all plants, all animals, all construction, all information, all energy, all means of production, and all human beings in the world. It is a totally comprehensive plan.
I'm going to pause it right there and I want to go. This is the Hawaii General Plan 2045. And I'm going to go to IPCC, which is IPCC is the, where is it here? It's down here. The United Nations Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. So Jeff Darrow, the planning director of Big Island that I spoke with last night, said, oh, this has been going on for 10 years and the people helped to create this plan. Then why, Mr. Darrow, Jeff, is the United Nations Intergovernmental Planning Panel on Climate Change in our general plan? They're not on Big Island. They have concluded in most recent report that human activities have unequivocally caused global warming. So they're talking about global warming, Jeff, but let's take a look and actually let me go to who these people are. IPCC, Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, the United Nations. Who are these people? The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change is the United Nations body for assessing the science related to climate change. Oh, isn't this a little bit of a conflict of interest? Because where is it? Here it is. The IPCC was created to provide policymakers with regular scientific assessments on climate change, its implications and potential further risks, as well as to put forward adoption and mitigation options. So here is a panel. First, the United Nations says there's climate change and the people are creating it. Then they put a panel together to have them create scientific assessments on climate change. So the people that are saying there's climate change and the people are doing it have now put a panel together to have them show the scientific data of how people are contributing to climate change and global warming. Isn't that a conflict of interest? Do you guys think that's a little bit of a conflict of interest there? And yet, the United Nations IPCC, International Governmental Panel on Climate Change, is in the Hawaii General Plan. But I thought this general plan was created by locals. What local works for the United Nations? What local works for the International Panel on Climate Change? The entire Hawaii General Plan's foundation is on climate change. Now, I have done many videos showing that that meteorologists, first of all, I've done many videos and you can look at them. I'm not going to go over every single one. You can actually go to standtogetherhawaii.com, standtogetherhawaii.com, join our email list, but click on Maui Fire. Click on Maui Fire, then go down to weather modification. Go down to, you will see the National Library of Medicine on August 4th, 2021, put out a report saying the sun is cooling, the earth is cooling. 50-year meteorologist, Dr. David Dilley, who worked for the United Nations, worked for the United States Navy for 50 years as a meteorologist, showed the Milankovitch cycle, which means the Earth was closer to the sun 8,000 years ago and is cooling. But yet in our general plan, in the Hawaii general plan, it literally states that human activity have unequivocally caused global warming. But there's evidence that the world is cooling. So what's the deal with that? This is an organization, a company, the United Nations outside of Hawaii. What are they doing in our general plan? And not only that, but where is it at? The three main goals of, sorry if this is making you dizzy, I'll stop in a moment. I want to find this one page. I think it's page 32. Let me take a look here. Because there's three goals in the Agenda 21. They're the exact same goals in the in our general plan. So let me pause the recording and find it. Right. So again, Mr. Darrow said that this was created by the people. So sustainable principles and practices, social, cultural equity. So there's all about sustainability, economic growth, and environmental protection, right? This is in our Hawaii General Plan, County of Hawaii General Plan, page 32. Then we have here, I got to stop and restart my screen share so you can see the right screen. And this is implementing sustainable development, the authors of Agenda 21. This is sustainable development, environment, equity, economy. And I'm just going to environment, equity, economy from Agenda 21. And again, one more time, you guys, here we go. Environment, equity, economy. So, but I thought that the locals helped create this plan. But this is from the Agenda 21. And check this one out. The United States has rejected UN Sustainable Development Goals. This was as of March 7th, 2025. The United States, under the current administration, stated it rejects and denounces the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, the key global goals adopted by the United Nations unanimously in 2015 as part of 2030 Agenda. And they say that it's because, where is it at? Put simply, globalist endeavors like Agenda 2030, which was Agenda 21, and the Sustainable Development Goals lost at the ballot box. Therefore, the United States rejects and denounces the 2030 Agenda / Agenda 21 for sustainable development and the Sustainable Development Goals, and it will no longer reaffirm them as a matter of course. He says, adding that the U.S. administration has set a clear and overdue course correction on gender and climate ideology, which he said pervade the Sustainable Development Goals. This was the United States rejecting the Sustainable Development Goals, which again are in our general plan. Look at this. This is Tennessee General Assembly, April 11th, 2025. And these, pursuant to Tennessee Code, this code, 44-1-422, this state and its political subdivisions shall not adopt or implement policy recommendations that deliberately or inadvertently infringe on or restrict private property rights without due process as may be required by policy recommendations or originating in or traceable to the United Nations or a subsidiary entity of the United Nations, including but not limited to Agenda 21, adopted by the United Nations in 1992, the Agenda 2030, the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development introduced at the United Nations, the United Nations proposal to reach zero emissions. Oh, net zero emissions, you guys, from the United Nations. Let's take a look at net zero emissions and let's see if that's in the Hawaii General Plan. Oh, achieve net zero emissions. So this again, another part of the Hawaii General Plan, supposedly created by locals but yet it's in the United Nations proposal. And here's another one. Be enacted by the people of the state of Maine. This bill prohibits the state or any political subdivision of the state from adopting or implementing policies originating in the United Nations Agenda 21 or other international laws that restrict private property rights without due process, because the United Nations has accredited and enlisted numerous non-governmental and intergovernmental organizations to assist in the implementation of the policies related to Agenda 21 around the world. The bill prohibits the state or any political subdivision from entering into agreements or financial arrangement with those organizations. This is in Maine, we have it in Tennessee, we have the United States, but we have it still in our general plan. So we have not only that, but we have acquire and acquisition all over this plan. Let's put in acquisition, 10 matches, lands designated for acquisition by public agencies for conservation or natural resource protection. So people there, I'm telling you right now, this plan will inventory your private property. It will inventory it for possible acquisition. And we're going to put in acquire, which, let's see here. Okay, the food doesn't, that part doesn't matter. This one is, this is high, that one's not the one I was looking for. Where is it? Support the state's objective. And that's about noise control. There's one about data that inventories people's property through data. And there's one more thing I want to show you guys in this general plan. And then so again, Jeff Darrow said this plan was created for 10 years by the locals, but I've just shown you guys how this is a United Nations, part of the United Nations agenda in our Hawaii General Plan. So the other thing I want to share too, before I go any further, is the fact that the mayor has put a pause on the Hawaii General Plan. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. You are the first person in the legislative body that has listened to the people. I have gone to, for the past 8 months, I've gone to every single planning department meeting, every single one. Leeward and Westward, we had 2 meetings a month starting in November. I've been going to these meetings in September. In September, we had, I don't know how many people were at this one meeting. And at that last meeting in September, they could have paused it. But they didn't. The planning director at the time, Zendo Kern, actually signed off, which pushed the agenda forward, even though we had a room full of people saying we don't want this plan. Then every single meeting, Westward and Leeward side, we had at least 20 to 30 people, some on Zoom, some in person, saying, don't put this plan through. Do not recommend this plan to the Westward and Leeward planning commissioners. We had 2 businessmen come in and want one thing on the plan that would support their business or their private property. 2 people in 8 months that said they want one thing on the plan. Not one person showed up in full support of this plan. Not one person showed up saying, I helped to create this plan. 0. But yet the Leeward and the Westward planning commissioners ignored all the people who were saying, do not recommend this plan go through. They are absolute cowards. They are, in my personal opinion, they are treasonous traitors to this country of we the people, by the people, for the people because they disregarded the people. And I told them, I said, that is not your seat. That's our seat. You're sitting in our seat and you're representing us. And we are telling you to not put this plan through. We are telling you what to do, and that is what we require. We don't ask it. We're not requesting it. We require you to not put this plan through, and they kept putting it through. And then Mr. Darrow, Jeff Darrow, the planning department director, says, oh, this has been going on for 10 years and the people created it. Obviously, they have not. So let me just see if there's anything else I want to share about that. So we please join standtogetherhawaii.com. I have contacted the mayor, thanking him again for putting a pause on this general plan and saying, what do you need from us? We will be in meetings with you. We will help to create this and make this Pono with the people, make this right with the people and with the Aina, with the land. So I'm hoping to hear back from him about what the next steps are. And thank God he's listening to me. I gave him a stack of information on, because he was like, he told me, he said, Michelle, bring in all the information you have. I'll give you an hour. Gave him a stack of information. In fact, on the climate change, I'm just going to repeat some of the stuff you guys have already seen. And I'm going to show you guys the Marshall Islands, because the people are saying, oh, but climate change, the Marshall Islands, the Marshall Islands are going underwater. Let me show you guys that, because that's really interesting about the Marshall Islands. Where is it at? Let me see here. Let me find it first, and then I'll do a screen share, and then I do want to share about actually, let me just pause the recording here. This is really sad. They're saying, Michelle, the Marshall Islands are sinking. The Marshall Islands, from 1946 to 1958, the United States conducted 67 nuclear tests. They nuked that place. They nuked it so bad, and these bombs were 1,000 times worse. Where does it say that? 1,000 times worse than Hiroshima. And here it is. The U.S. conducted its largest nuclear detonation ever on Castle Bravo at Bikini Atoll, that's in Marshall Islands, on March 1st, 1954. This was part of Operation Castle series. The thermonuclear test Bravo was over 1,000 times more times powerful than Little Boy, which was the bomb that they put over Hiroshima. 1,000 times more powerful. They nuked the bejeejees out of the Marshall Islands. And these people filed a complaint with, oh, guess who? The United Nations. But this did not prevent nuclear testing. That's because it's a long story about what that's about. But these poor islands were nuked so bad, they destroyed them. And now they're sinking and they're calling it climate change. Isn't that interesting? And they're talking about disappearing waters. Yeah, disappearing waters on the Marshall Islands. And then they're saying that, but research and recent suggests that the loss of freshwater resources could make the island uninhabitable before it sinks. And yeah, so they did all of this nuclear detonation, and they're not saying anything about the nuclear detonation, the 67 nuclear bombs on Marshall Island. But they're saying, oh, it's climate change, it's because of people. Okay, Hilo and Kona, no island on any of the Hawaii Islands has had any significant rise in water. We have had Al Gore, who was the filmmaker for An Inconvenient Truth, by Coastland Mansion. Okay, Obama, Coastland Mansion. Biden, Coastland Mansion. If they're going to be underwater, why would they buy Coastland Mansions? Wouldn't they buy Coastland Mountain Retreat? Come on, you guys. Let's do some common sense here. So this general plan is not written by the people, is written by the United Agenda 21. They gave it to the planning department, who then said, okay, everybody, let's talk about this general plan, and are you guys in? And the people, they're like, oh, it's sustainability. Yeah, they make it sound really good, all these fluffy words. You know, my book, Great Matter Land Grab, and let me show you guys. I'll show you one more thing and then we'll pray. Because these agenda, let's see here. Agenda 21. Actually, it's not that. It's 17 UN goals. There it is. 17 UN goals. Let me just talk about that a little bit. And then we'll do a prayer here, because everybody's like, but these goals are so great. Okay, no poverty. Sure, absolutely. Don't want any poverty. That would be fantastic. Zero hunger. That would be great. Good health and well-being, because they always want to keep us safe. But let me start with number one. Number one, no poverty. Who gets to decide on what kind of food that people get to eat? Are we going to be rationed? There's going to be all of these goals means rules and regulations. That's what that means. Yes, we all want every single person and child to eat on the planet. Absolutely. But when you go through the United Nations, that is, I can actually, you know what? I'm going to do that too. I'm going to do one more thing as well. Let me just go through these goals. Zero hunger, absolutely. But who decides what rules and regulations will allow for zero hunger? Good health and well-being. What just happened with the CO thing, the thingamajigger? Good health and well-being. Quality education. Who gets to decide on what is education and what's not? What's going to be the protocol for that? What is going to be the criteria? Gender equality. Give me a flippin' break on that. It doesn't matter how many hormones you take. If you're born a man or you're born a woman, you're going to really mess up your body by changing that. The other thing, clean water and sanitation. They just wanted to have the health department come in to people's private property. That's not Pono for us. We don't want that. Affordability. So we all look at these and we go, yeah, affordability and clean energy. Again, totally, absolutely. But what are the rules and regulations and fines going to be associated, and who gets to decide on what is clean energy, what is affordable? Here's a good one. Decent work. Decent work promotes sustained, inclusive, and sustainable economic, full, productive employment and decent work for all. I want to say F that, because I don't want decent work. I want work that I love to do. This is horrible. You know, all of these things make cities and human settlements inclusive, safe, and resilient and sustainable. That 100% is communism, surveillance, rules and regulations, fines. Who gets to decide on that? Who gets to decide on what that is? That's the scary stuff about all of this. Peace and justice and strong institutions. This number 16 scares me the most. Promote peaceful and inclusive societies for sustainable development, provide access to justice for all, and build effective and accountable, inclusive institutions at all levels. Who's going to decide on that, you guys? These people, these oligarchs that are crazy, absolute craziness. There's one more thing I wanted to show, and I'm going to pause the screen because I got to show you guys this. Today, this won't mess up my copyright, but I have to show you guys this. Where's my screen share? There it is. Oh, it's got a commercial here. Sorry about that.
Session of the International Crimes Investigative Committee. Today we will take a closer look at the United Nations, which many people are aware of, that they are supposed to become the one world government as proclaimed in the Great Reset. So what is the United Nations about, and who do we talk to? Well, our interview partner is a former high-ranking member of the United Nations. His name is Călin Georgescu. It is best to talk to someone who knows from personal experience what he's talking about, rather than to talk to someone who just has ideas about what is going on inside the United Nations.
Well, I serve this institution 17 years, almost 18. I start in Romania, in the United Nations Development Program, which gave to me the chance to understand, first of all, the system. I was director to coordinate the Romanian National Sustainable Development Strategy and Local Agenda 21, which I did for almost 40 counties in Romania. Step, I arrived to different, let's say, events in New York and after that in Geneva, in many other countries, and I arrived also in the board for Europe in the United Nations Environmental Program. I had a chance to have many meetings, many interviews, and particularly to understand how is running this system. But I had the chance to arrive, let's say, to the key people to understand how can work this train. I was absolutely sure that United Nations is a fantastic institution which can help the people and the welfare and the human being and to be a good life, to have a good life and everything to be in harmony with the nature. Because this is my background, environmental protection. So based on my background, of course, I arrived to United Nations and I arrived to be, let's say, call it a specialist in sustainable development. But later on, of course, I find how, in fact, the things are moving. Because particularly when you are going in the field, you find the reality. The reality is not from the office, not from the newspaper, not from the TV. It's from the ground. In the ground, I find that the most important part of the game, that the nature, the gods, the universe, give to us everything we want. Everything. So he can cover all our needs, but it's impossible to cover our greed. And the greed is not from the majority of the people. The greed is coming from a small part of the people. The main important cause is the oligarch, the world oligarch system.
Are they the one who
They
control?
want to have the control. And for this reason, UN is the platform, the bridge for the oligarchy system to control.
And the oligarchs are the ones who gather once a year in Davos, the members of the World Economic Forum?
Of course, this UN platform for 2030 with Davos agenda.
So that's in our general plan. And Mr. Jeff Darrow is clueless, absolutely clueless. And when these legislative bodies absolutely disregard the people and don't even look up what we're saying to them, that is treasonous traitor. That is a treasonous traitor, and they should be removed from office. Because we, the people, are trying to tell them this is why we don't want this. There have been so many testimonies, so many, that they've completely disregarded as conspiracy theorist. And when you do that, you disregard with the people, numerous of us, then you are failing the people. You are failing us, and you need to remove yourself from office. The mayor of Big Island is not doing that. He is standing for the people. He is listening to us. He has paused this general plan. And now I don't know what's going to happen next, but I'm hoping that we, the people, can meet with him together and work through this and make a plan that's great for the future of the Aina and the Keiki, the land and the children, because that's what we all want. We all want to be free. We all want the best for our children, all the best for this land, because we all love, if you live here on the Big Island, it's not easy living here. We got fire ants, we got all kinds of stuff. It's people go, oh, paradise. But if you live here, you love it here because it's not easy. This place will spit you out if you don't want to do your part and be Pono, you will be booted. So I just want to say so much, mahalo Island for bringing me here, because I love this place with all my heart. And I'm not going to sit by and let people who are ignorant and refuse to look up and research what we are saying. I refuse to just sit by and let that happen. Not on my watch, and I know it's not on your watch either, because if you're still watching, mahalo, and please join standtogetherhawaii.com. Let's do a prayer. Great Spirit, I know this is a game, and I know I came here to play this game, and I trust you with all my heart. And I keep following my guided intuition, my inspiration in spirit. I know that this world can be a better place. I know that this island can be free and that it can be Pono. The land can be Pono because we don't own it. We are stewards. We are stewards. We take care of the land. We take care of the Aina. And Great Spirit, we just see this island and all the Hawaii Islands and all the mainland areas and states and provinces around the world, that they are free and they're returned back to the people to do what is right by and for the people. And that those who are in power, who disregard the people's voice, that they are peaceably removed from office, or they voluntarily step down, or their heart is turned toward doing what is right and looking up what the heck we're talking about. Great Spirit, we know that each person is in the position they're in by you, that you guided them into that position, Great Spirit. And we see this world as being a better place. We see all of the issues that we have being opened up to see other possibilities, rather than always about taxes and always about rules and permits and fines and all of that. We see it coming back to community, to ohana, to doing what's pono for the land and for the people. We call that forth. I don't know how it's going to look like, Great Spirit, but I know it's coming. And I know we just open our hearts and we trust you. We let go of fear and we keep standing in truth. And the light is here. It is shining on all of us. It is shining on the people who want to do what is right, are doing what is right, and those who have an alternative agenda, that they are bound by this beautiful white light of infinite love and creation. We call it forth now, that we are free, and that aloha is back in Hawaii, back for all the people and all the guests that come to enjoy her. Mahalo nui loa. Thank you so much, Great Spirit. And so it is. Sending you and your family so much aloha, and so much mahalo to everybody who's coming to these meetings and meeting with the mayor. He's rocking it. Like, seriously, he's a good man. I really am grateful for him pausing the general plan. That says a lot. He's standing for the people, you guys. So let's back him up and do whatever he needs us to do to make this plan pono, to make it right with the people. Let's do it. Much aloha.